So today we are going to be talking about the world of formation, which is the third of the seven worlds. And we will today be focusing on the quality of our thoughts. We'll be focusing on how meditation can be used as a tool to enhance the quality of our thoughts and to raise our stature and raise our well-being in this world. So let's start by refreshing our memories of the seven worlds. Here, the seven worlds basically represent all the dimensions that we as souls can exist in, may exist in, and what we get out of each dimension. The learning of those helps us enhance our way of life in this world, enhance our ability to maximize what we are able to accomplish, enhance our ability to gain as much knowledge as we can. So this understanding of the seven worlds is part of bettering oneself. Now, the world of light is the ultimate world, which is where we all seek to merge into, and it is also the world from where we all emerge. And then we have the world of fire, which we've covered, which is the world of beings that are created from fire, free of smoke. Then we've got the world of water, which is our world, and we've already covered that. And in the world of formation is where everything that ever was created and took a form, regardless of its dimensions, is created here. Then the next world we will learn about is the world of thought. And it is also possible to exist in more worlds than one while we live in this form. So while we're in the world of water, we can also exist in the world of thought. Then we have the world of the eternal, which is the world where when we pass on from this world, what's the next stage we go to before moving on with our journey? And that is the world of the eternal. It's a fascinating world. We'll have so much new stuff to learn and understand when we go through it. Then there is the world of assimilation, which is where all the experience and knowledge that has been gained throughout our spiritual journey goes to that final assimilation. This world is the closest world to the world of light. And so our karmic compass, our soul proposition of what we want to accomplish in our lifetimes, they're all set here. And then we take form in either the world of water or fire. These are the only two worlds which are experiential in nature. So hopefully that brings us all up to speed. Today, let's recap on the world of formation. Now, the world of formation, what is it? It is the world where all forms get created. Every form that exists in our world, be it rocks, mountains, plants, birds, trees, animals, humans, marine life, all the forms are created here. And every form in the world of fire is also created here. So the jinns and all the physical forms of their complex world are all created in the world of formation. Every form in the universes, including those that exist in more than 3 dimensions, which we cannot see, they also get created here. And every meteor in space and every particle ever created receives its form here in the world of formation. So you can think of this world of formation as being the seat or the source of all forms. Forms that we know and forms that we don't know. And the world of formation is therefore the center of all creativity. And this world is accessed by all 7 worlds and all creation in the universe. So it's a very fascinating world, which is why it's taken us multiple classes to go through. Now, we also learned that we can classify forms in the world of formation in 2 categories: animate forms and inanimate forms. Last class we talked about at some length about inanimate forms. And we also discussed the fact that inanimate objects, the consciousness present in them is of a timeless nature. Last week we covered many examples of existential consciousness. And because of time shortage, I was unable to share an example from my life which happened, which actually defied all statistical odds. So I thought I'd take a few minutes and share it with you today. So in 1995, I was visiting Hong Kong, and we were supposed to have a meeting, a very important meeting, and I got onto the other side of Hong Kong and arrived 1 hour early. So I figured, okay, instead of waiting at the hotel where the meeting was to be, I would take a walk. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I found my way through one of the alleys and kept walking. And I ended up at an antique store. Now, in those days, I really did not have any appreciation of antiques. And I actually used to make fun of people who would buy antiques thinking, this is old stuff, what are people paying for? But here I am, I find myself in this antique shop. And then I go in and I've got all kinds of things. And in the shelf, behind the glass shelf, there was a Buddha. And I said, can I see that? And so the lady takes it out, brings it down, and she proceeds to tell me the story of this Buddha. And she says that this Buddha is from Tibet, and that it had been in many of the temples, and the people who would go there to worship would be holding the Buddha. This is how they would hold the statue, and they would pray. So you could see on the surface of the Buddha, even though it had nice yellowish golden looking metallic coating on top of bronze, you could see that these thousands of hands that had held it had actually worn off some of the coating. And so I looked at it for a few minutes, and suddenly I realized that I knew this piece, and that this piece had a connection with me. And at one time it was actually with me. I had this piece. And what crossed my mind was a symbol carved. And this was carved in the form of a seal of the Ming Dynasty. And so I turn this Buddha around and I look, and there is the seal. Let me show you a picture of this Buddha. It's really fascinating. It's a beautiful piece. And I was really glad to have found it. So this is what it looks like. Very peaceful, lovely, nice energy. And when I saw it, and for a guy who doesn't know anything about antiques, I was so taken in. And you feel peace. And remember I said, as people hold it in the temples, the metallic coating wears out. Look here. Look here. So let me show you the symbol I was talking about. So when I turned this thing around, this was the symbol at the base behind the Buddha. And as soon as I saw this, I said to myself, this is mine. And I knew this symbol before I saw it. So I talked to the owner of the antique shop and decided to buy the piece. And then I took it home with me. But as I saw the piece, as I held it, as I felt it, there was a connection with its consciousness. So there was a connection. And I realized that the last time I had this piece was almost 17, 18, 19. It was almost 350 years ago. That's the earliest or the latest I could recall of when I had that piece. And I also know that that piece had been given as a collateral in that particular time, whatever my circumstances may have been, in whatever form I was. But I was unable to retrieve it again. And so from that year, 1649, to now, in 1995, here I am holding this piece, and now I feel completely reunited and so happy that I didn't want to take it out of my sight. Now, let's look at let's look at some questions surrounding this piece, because it's, what was it that told me about the piece? What is it that inspired me? It was the consciousness that was present in that Buddha. And I was able to tune into it, and, consciousness is ever living, and the knowledge and the information is there. So, the question that I would ask next is, when did my connection with this Buddha piece really begin? Was it when it was a complete statue and I parted from it 350 years ago in that particular circumstance? Or was it when the piece was being made that I had my connection with it first? Or was it when it was a metal? Or when it was a mineral? Or when it was a rock? How far does my connection with the Buddha go? And our beloved and famous poet Jalaluddin Rumi has an answer for us all to consider, where he says, I died as a mineral and became a plant. I died as a plant and rose to animal. I died as an animal and I was human. So he's talking about the consciousness from his inanimate form all the way to his animate state. Each time his forms are changing, but the consciousness is constant. And he's talking about, and he's showing it to be a continuation of consciousness from form to form, inanimate to animate, and living forever. So when did my connection start with the Buddha? I think I have a good idea, but I think the points made by Jalaluddin Rumi are truly inspiring. I died as a mineral and became a plant. I died as a plant and rose to animal. I died as an animal and I was human. If you recall one of our earlier classes on the seven worlds, we did talk about burial, cremation, how consciousness flows from the body into other elements. That's exactly what he's saying. So, my dear friends, out there, in a remote part of the world, there may be a rock or an object that has the same vibrational consciousness as you. It is you, your Buddha piece, or something even as simple as a little piece of rock or a crystal that was connected to you, is still out there. And not just one piece. There may be countless forms that you have the same consciousness with. So you have to open yourself to sensing these vibrations and consciousness in animate and inanimate forms by engaging with the meditative thought, I am oneness. I am oneness. I am oneness. You engage with that thought, and you're engaging with the life energy and consciousness that is present in everything. And then you go to we are oneness. We are oneness. We are oneness. And you'll start to discover so much. Now, we covered this in Meditation Masterclass 4, but there's more to talk about in today's class and particularly in next class. So you can become like that tuning fork, picking up all the different consciousness levels connected with your being, and you will discover a great deal. So, coming back to refreshing our memory, and I thought that this Buddha example was something I wanted to share with you because this was my first-hand experience. And the complete, I would say, enlightenment that came from connecting with its consciousness was something that I would really like you all to experience in your own form with whatever is connected with you. You can blindly walk past it, or you can know it. It's entirely up to you, because you will cross it and you will keep crossing it. So, coming back to refreshing our memory of last week's class, apart from animate and inanimate objects, we also covered the three levels of consciousness. So let me remind you of the three levels of consciousness. we use the analogy of the ocean bed. And the bottom of the ocean, which is completely still, is the universal consciousness or the God consciousness. And from there rises the existential consciousness, which is the consciousness of nature. And this flows into animate and inanimate forms. So the God consciousness flows with the existential consciousness. It gives rise to the existential consciousness. And then we come to the material consciousness, which is our world. And this here is also the world of formation as we know it, because this is where we encounter all our forms. But the material consciousness is a consciousness made up of our thoughts from our lower level mind and our higher level mind. This is the consciousness of our creation, as we talked about at great length last time. So, at the surface, where the material consciousness resides, is that third consciousness that we talked about. And material consciousness is the lowest level of consciousness, which is predominantly created by our thoughts from the lower and higher level minds, as I just said. And this is where the dark and bright side of human nature lives and expresses itself. Now, you will recall from the last class that all animate and inanimate forms are influenced by the material consciousness. When we looked at consciousness with respect to vibration levels, we looked at how as the vibration levels go up, we go to a higher level of consciousness. So let me quickly share that with you so you can refresh your memory. So this is the diagram we looked at. Now, here you got negative consciousness, here you got positive consciousness. Here you got chaos, you're going down to stillness. So in negative consciousness, you have very low level vibrations, so there are very few waves. Here, for example, there are only 5 waves, so it's a vibration level 5. Then as the vibration level goes up, the number of waves goes up. Here we are at 10. And then as we go higher, the number of waves keeps increasing until when we reach stillness, the vibration level, the number of waves here goes to its highest infinite level. So as we go from chaos to stillness, the vibration goes higher and higher and higher and higher. And we have all practiced going into stillness. So this is something to remember. When we look at that diagram and we look at vibration in very simple language and how it gets higher as we approach stillness, this in essence is the goal of meditation, to take you to that higher level of vibration. And our objective in daily living must be to maintain a very high level of vibration in our being through positivity, stillness, anchor thought, and more. And I've shared these techniques with you in the YouTube channel and on our website, and today we will cover them further. But please do go and visit those and practice them. They are there, they've been made for you, for your benefit. Now, those are positive thoughts, and going into stillness and anchoring yourself in positive states of being raise your vibration. Conversely, negative thoughts have very low vibrations and they tend to bring you down. Now, here is the diagram which we shared last time of negative thoughts. As you can see, look at the size of the wave. Very low vibration, hardly any. That's cruelty. Then there is hatred, also very low level vibration, only 2 waves. Fear, envy. So all these negative traits are big waves living at the lowest level of consciousness. So when we deal with people and we see good and bad, we are only seeing the material identity and feeling their vibrations, which is driven by their mind and their actions. Because remember, material consciousness is human created. And so that's what we feel and that's what we experience with each other in our material world. And when we deal with people and the quality of their thoughts go higher, so does their vibration. And also, so does their quality as human beings. Sometimes you meet someone and you feel so peaceful and happy, and you want to be with them, you don't want to leave them, you just want to be in their presence. That is because you're connecting with their higher state of vibration, and their vibration is lifting you up, and you just want to be in that space. Now, similarly, lower quality of thoughts and state of being entails low vibrations, and it doesn't lift you up. In fact, it pushes you down. And it sort of pulls you down, but depending on your state of your vibrations, you may be able to lift such people up. Or if your vibrations are weaker, they may pull you lower. So we are all experiences. So sometimes we are with someone and we leave feeling terrible. And sometimes we may have started in that negative space, but we lift and we change the atmosphere. So, sometimes I'm sure you have experiences. You find that you're in a room and someone walks in and you haven't even seen them, but you sense that negativity. Sometimes I feel like someone stuck a knife in my back. I feel awful. And I haven't even seen that person. Or if you don't feel it to that degree of sensitivity, you just feel that negative presence and you don't want to be around. So you have a choice. Either walk away and leave, which is fine, or stay and help that person raise his or her vibration through your own strength. It all depends on you. There is no right thing to do or wrong thing to do. It's how you are at that given state. Sometimes it serves you well to walk away. That doesn't make you a weak person. It just means you protected yourself. Sometimes you feel strong, you feel that energy, and you feel you can change things. Then change things, but it's entirely you're up to you. And this is where anchor thought plays a very big part. And you've practiced anchor thought many times with me and in the recording which we have on YouTube and the website. So, we'll also cover anchor thought a little further today, but the goal of today's class is to focus on how meditation techniques we have learned together can be used to engage with our consciousness. All the techniques we have learned, how do they engage with our consciousness? What do they do for us? And how do they help us establish our state of being at different vibration levels? Because it's one thing to practice. Now it's trying to understand what those tools actually do for us and why we're doing it. And so, we recognize that, we live in the material consciousness amidst emotions and states of being of very low vibrations. So let's talk a bit about that, because meditation is something that we're going to use as a tool to lift us and others out. So what do these states of low vibrations make us feel and do? They make us fearful, they make us worried, angry, envious, suspicious, selfish, self-centered. You can see all these, so much of it is around us and we encounter it all the time. Or quick to blame everyone except ourselves, cruel, hurtful to others, and more. And these are emotions and states of mind that we consciously feel and become a part of. And they damage us, our health. They damage the water in our body, in our organs, in our blood, and all fluids, creating or causing the onset of illnesses. Now, last week we saw the pictures of how water reacts to thought and consciousness and emotions through the works of Masaru Emoto. And see those pictures again and remember the message that the quality of your health is directly correlated with the quality of your thoughts and emotions. So these negative thoughts and emotions leave us frustrated or conflictive, making us hurt and dismiss others as well as ourselves. And when malicious vibrations capture our mind, they make us scheming, revengeful, and damaging in a cold and calculated manner. In addition, our ego keeps lowering our vibrations constantly. And as we become egocentric, we feel good when we are praised or revered or feared by others or filled with a sense of power over everyone. That's ego. But all these are vibrations that plant seeds in our mind and they grow and making us and others around us unhappy. Why is narcissism so rampant in our world today? We weren't born that way, but our world has grown into a jungle where we deal with narcissistic people, take the brunt of their actions, and unknowingly start to become like them. So, what does all this mean? Why am I saying all this to you? It means we are wasting precious, precious time to these purely low-level negative vibrations, and life passes us by while we waste time with them. Until one day when it's time to go, we realize how little we have accomplished. So we want to try and eliminate wasting our time, emotion, and mental space on these negative vibrations. Now, when we leave our world, the cardinals on our karmic compass reflect what we were able to achieve. And if we wasted so much of our lives in this material consciousness and embroiled within its negativity, then the cardinals of our compass will be incomplete. So, if we want to achieve and complete our karmic journey and our learning and our growth, then we have to aim for going to higher levels of vibration. And this is, there's a very nice illustration of that karmic compass in the video. But this should be our goal. And this is where meditation is going to work with us. In addition to wasting precious time, these low-level vibrations also clutter our minds. We lose clarity. We start living on the outside of the cyclone, bouncing around like accidental objects, once again wasting life and its opportunities for spiritual growth. So our material consciousness is like a muddy pool of water, and we're swimming in it, and the water is muddy. And each time we consume this muddy water, we become more ill, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Yet at the core of this muddy water is pure, crystal clear water. So we need to get rid of the mud. How does one do that? Even if you do a little experiment, take a glass of pure water, put some mud and stir it until you can't see through it. But then you let that glass sit and go completely still. What happens? The mud settles out and the crystal clear water is back. That is what meditation can do for us. Settle out the mud and clutter in us, and then raise our vibration so high that this mud is constantly repelled by the water. This is where true clarity is reached, and meditation can take us there. Anchor thought can take us there. And all these positive aspects of our being with high-level vibrations begin to occupy our mind when we are in clarity, thus raising our consciousness right out of the swamp. So now let's take another step forward and ask ourselves this question again. What is meditation? Now we've learned so much about meditation, maybe 25 classes. But now we have to learn how to tie it all together. What is meditation? So let's look at a more advanced definition of meditation, which according to my understanding, meditation is the synthesis of you and yourself. I'll repeat that. Meditation is the synthesis of you and yourself. What is synthesis? Synthesis means to combine a number of different pieces to make one whole. Synthesis is about bringing everything together as one. Then what is you here? When we talk of you and yourself, what is you? It is the person you are in the material consciousness. You know this person very well. I know my person very well. The person that embodies good and bad, darkness and light, cruelty and mercy, that is you, the one that lives in the material consciousness, and that is the one you live with all the time. Then what is yourself? Yourself is your real being. Yourself that embodies the existential consciousness and the God consciousness or universal consciousness. That is yourself. And it is present with you always in the material consciousness. So now let's look at this diagram to kind of understand the difference between you and yourself. And you've all seen the vortex before. But now let us look at it from the consciousness perspective. So as I said, when you have the existential consciousness and you have the God consciousness. So the center core is the God or universal consciousness, which is completely still and all-powerful. And the existential consciousness branches off from the God consciousness into the material consciousness, which lives on the outside of this vortex or cyclone. So when you live completely in the material consciousness, you just bounce around here. Whereas you need to be connecting and drawing yourself here. And that's the difference between living as you or living with yourself. If you look at this top circle from here, from the top, that's the God consciousness or the universal consciousness. That's your existential consciousness. This is your material consciousness. This is where you reside. And through meditation, you draw you into yourself. And from there, you reach the God consciousness. So meditation draws you into yourself, into the consciousness of nature, and then into the God consciousness. This is what makes meditation so important and so powerful, which is why it is worthy of all the study we are doing. I thought that illustration, it did carry a very deep message. So, to date, we have learned many techniques in meditation. So now you're looking at how you draw you into yourself, the synthesis of you and yourself. Then I drew a meditation map. So now we can see how the techniques we have learned, what do they do for us? So let's look at my short meditation map here. So you've got the God or universal consciousness, which was the base of the ocean. You've got the existential consciousness or nature. And then you've got your material consciousness, which is where we live our lives here 24/7. Now, the goal of meditation is to draw you from your material consciousness into the consciousness of nature and into the God consciousness. That is the goal of nature. But also meditation has to help you live in this world, in this state, and enhance your well-being. So, what are the techniques that work for us? In our conscious state, we can practice the meditation of stillness, 5 minutes, whenever, even in the midst of our busy life, we can go still and we can raise our vibration. We can go from stillness into silence. Or we can practice anchor thought and establish our state of being very well here, such that it is drawn closer and closer to here. So you're not living out of the periphery there, you are living in here with anchor thought. Then there's this very powerful meditation of flow, which flows from you into the consciousness of nature and back. You are part of its circle. So these techniques are very important, very powerful to live in the material consciousness, but be anchored deeply into higher levels of vibration, making you that person that everyone wants to be with. Then, as we go into the higher meditation, as we seek to reach the light, then we leave the material consciousness and we practice detachment, which we always do in our meditations. And then there is the meditation of dispassion, which I'm going to teach you in the next class. And with this, what happens is you break away. The you comes with you, detaches from all this, because both these detachments break this connection and they bring you into oneness. And in oneness, you are very much in the existential consciousness of nature. And then, as your vibration levels keep increasing, from oneness, you reach the stage of surrender, where you surrender your ego, your control, your mind, your thoughts to your Creator. And then you move into practicing linkage, and you are guided into the light, into the God consciousness. And this is where you achieve enlightenment. So, this is about daily living. This is about rising and going into the light. So, these techniques enhance your daily living. These techniques help you go deeper and deeper and deeper. So, that's the meditation map. And today's class and next class, we're going to focus on this. And we're actually going to do more practicals together. What does each of these techniques that I shared with you do for us? So let's summarize. Stillness. So stillness enables us to eliminate all the clutter and chaos in the mind by making our thoughts and being go completely still. So this is a very powerful way of going from chaos to complete calmness. It lets the mud settle out, letting that crystal clear water show, taking us to pure clarity. Stillness helps you gain clarity. Stillness raises our vibration, taking us to a level where we are better able to get closer to the core of pure stillness, which, as you saw in that vortex, is where the God or universal consciousness can be reached. So through stillness, you can penetrate. And the existential consciousness, or the consciousness of nature, is also completely still, as is the God consciousness. So this technique draws you where you want to be. The meditation of stillness should be practiced as often as possible, during your busy day or before bedtime, or even when you wake up at 4 a.m. at the start to prepare for your meditation of light. There again, stillness places you in the right frame to be able to contemplate and connect with your linkage word. Without reaching pure stillness, deep focus that is required to take us to the higher levels of consciousness becomes more difficult. And the mind, because the mind seeks to keep retaining control, but when you go completely still, you break that control. Now, we produced a meditation recording called Art of Stillness, which is on the YouTube channel and website. Please practice it. Practice it regularly and internalize it, because it's a great tool. It's only 5 minutes. Then from stillness, you go to silence. And silence is where every element of your being goes silent. And, all our noisy thoughts go silent. Everything around us goes silent as we shut out from the rest of the world. Stillness and silence establish us in a state of pure peace with highly elevated levels of vibration. So these two techniques are extremely empowering, and you can practice them in your day-to-day material life. Which then brings us to the third one, which is anchor thought. And this one is an invaluable tool that we can use in our material consciousness. We can use it to help us live with a higher state of vibration and become the person that everyone feels at peace with and wants to be. It's your anchor thought. You anchor your state of being in that level of vibration where you then emit that. Not only are you happy, not only are you peaceful, anchored into those powerful states, but you're positively influencing everybody around you. Now, this technique serves a very critical role in establishing the correct state of mind that is required for us to navigate through our life with clarity. With better control over our emotions and impulses. When you anchor your state of being, you will control your emotions and impulses far better in a very healthy way. So anchor thought is that stabilizing influence in our chaotic and busy material life. So what is the anchor thought? And as we have learned, it's basically defining your state of being. So if I ask you, how are you? And you say to me, I am fine. That's the most useless answer you can give. But if I ask you, how are you? And you say, I am happy. Well, then you are anchored in happiness. Or I am clarity. Then you are anchored in clarity. I am abundance. Then you are anchored in abundance. So you establish your state of being. When you go out to work, or you're in your business, or in your career, and you're seeking abundance, anchor yourself in abundance, and it'll come to you. Or I am stillness. Different anchor thought words are like peace, I am silence, I am clarity, I am hope, abundance, harmony, unity, light. These are all states of being that we can anchor our state in. And so anchor thought gives us control over our state of mind and state of being. And anchor thought is also highly empowering because it brings you and yourself closer together. So now let's look at how anchor thoughts and different words take us to new levels of vibration. This was another diagram which I put together to illustrate what happens when we practice anchor thought. So you see, we live down here in the normal state, right down here, at vibration level 0. If we go lower into the negative scale, there's conflict, anger, hatred, envy. All these are negative emotions that cause health and emotional damage. And then we go into the pure destructive zone. And a lot of us are here and here. Some of us are here, and we cause a lot of pain and destruction and hurt in our world. But this is the material consciousness. Now, the minute you create the intention to meditate and establish your anchor thought, you rise. While in a conscious state, you rise to a higher level of vibration. Then you anchor yourself in clarity and abundance. You rise again, because this clarity and abundance is a perfect way to be consciously living, anchored there. Then you go one notch higher. You go into harmony. You go into hope. You go into unity. You go into peace. You keep elevating your vibration. So what are you doing? You're taking your normal state, which is down here. You are raising your normal state. You are raising you towards yourself. And if you can live consciously in your daily life, in this zone, you become the person that emits so much positivity, peace, harmony, hope, clarity, abundance, that your journey in this world is going to be a great deal more enlightened, peaceful and happy, and not so down, negative, unhappy, because you have raised your state here. And this is you, and then you go to yourself. Then you go out of anchor thought, and now you're going towards your search for the light. So you go through detachment and dispassion. As you can see, this is the path of ascension towards the consciousness of nature and the God consciousness. And then you go into oneness, and from there into linkage and beyond. So anchor thought in our material life is key. Now, I would suggest that after today's class, go to YouTube or go to the website and practice this anchor thought in as many dimensions as you can before the next class in 2 weeks. Because then we will do it together. But by then, I really want your focus to be so fine-tuned like that perfect instrument. So use those 5-minute audios to practice. Then from anchor thought, as you saw, as you're rising, the other is the meditation of flow. And this technique is the next step above anchor thought. where rather than anchoring our mind and state of being in one given position, we become a part of the flow of that higher state. This is a more empowered state to live in. It is above anchor thought because the consciousness of nature then is flowing through you all the time. And again, the meditation of flow is also on our YouTube channel and on the website. Start practicing that because it's very empowering. So, the consciousness of nature, which emerges from the God consciousness, this technique puts you directly in touch and you become part of its flow in your conscious mind. So while you anchor yourself in a state of being, with meditation of flow, you become that flow of that very attribute you're anchoring into. It's very beautiful. And with the higher consciousness and vibration levels, they make you flow with yourself in the midst of your busy life. So you and yourself are flowing together. You are not you there and yourself here. You are flowing together and yourself is flowing into you and from you. And you become part of that living, flowing, existential consciousness of nature. I will let you again, between now and the next class, go and practice meditation of flow. But what is, in a nutshell, in the meditation of flow, in anchor thought, we anchor ourselves, say, for example, in peace. And you say, I am peace, and then you anchor yourself in peace. But with meditation of flow, you hold your arms open and you say, I am peace, peace, peace. Peace flows to me. So from the existential consciousness, peace flows to you, enters you through your left arm. Peace flows to me. Peace flows through me. Peace flows from me back into the existential consciousness. So peace comes from nature, from the God consciousness, flows to you, through you, from you, and back. You become part of that circle, and you become part of that integral part of the circle of peace. It's beautiful. Or you can say light. Light comes to me, light flows through me, light flows from me, and it goes back into nature, into the God consciousness, and back to you. So you are part of the circle of light. Same way, it's abundance, clarity, hope, silence, harmony, all these very beautiful attributes that raise your normal state to that higher level of vibration. It carries you above to the level of far greater power. But then it makes you part of that flow. Then even when you're not thinking of it, you are flowing with it. And when you stop to consciously think about it, you realize you are in its flow. So once we have derived control over our state of being and gone into state of flow, then we are ready to rise higher. Because we are living then at the border of the material consciousness and consciousness of nature. So please practice the meditation of flow before our next class. So you will have practiced anchor thought and flow. So when we do it together, we'll all just go straight into it and flow together, so that we don't have to then learn the technique over and over. Now, practice this every day. And I think that the meditation of flow at a conscious level in your day helps raise your vibration level, which takes you, or which makes the next steps of deeper meditation easier for you. So when you sit down and seek the light, having practiced flow and anchor thought, flow prepares you to go to the next stage. And the next stage is detachment. And detachment is where we cut ourselves off from the world, which is our world, our hopes, aspirations, our life. We disengage from the past, we disengage from the future. So when we practice meditation together, as you can see, usually we rise, we go from stillness to silence and then to detachment. And this is where you shifts and moves into yourself. Once you detach, you now is not on this side, you becomes yourself. And that raises you to higher levels of vibration and consciousness. Then you and yourself are together after detachment. And in the detachment stage, we separate ourselves from all the past, the future, the world we have, leaving us free and in the pure present, in the now. And then we go into our deeper spiritual meditations. And from there, and I use the example of either the balloons with you, the white ones for the world, then the yellow for the future, the green for the past, or the lotus flowers, which you see, the white one being the world, the yellow one being the future, and the past being the reddish pink one. So at this stage, after detachment, we are ready to venture deeper. And then there is that one more aspect we also need to bring under our control, which is our passion. And this comes by becoming completely dispassionate. And this is a very powerful level of meditation, which I will dedicate the next class to. Because this is how, or this technique teaches us to overcome fear, anxiety, apprehension, anger, depression, sadness, something so many people are struggling with. And so, resorting to medications and lots of treatments, well, here's one way to rise above it and to help yourself. And it's an extremely important step and tool that we can all use to enhance our well-being. So next class we will learn the meditation of dispassion and also further practice these techniques of flow and anchor thought together. Hopefully you will be well practiced by then. So after that we will move, after next class, then we will move to the next of the 7 worlds, which is the world of thought. So in meditation, after detachment, then we flow into oneness, where you and yourself are now completely one. You are one with all creation. You are one with your Creator. You are in that pure consciousness of nature, filled with light that comes from the God consciousness. And here you finally surrender your mind and your being to the Creator and allow yourself to be guided into the God consciousness or universal consciousness through linkage. And as you all know, linkage is a word that is either given to us or we have chosen, which describes or is an aspect of our Creator, is a name of our Creator. It's a powerful word because it has a very high vibration. And when we go from oneness and engage with that word, and we flow with it and we become that word, we go into the God consciousness on our journey towards enlightenment. And if we are blessed, we will encounter that enlightenment. If we do not encounter it, we're going to keep trying every day, with complete patience, no expectation, and absolutely no entitlement, because we're entitled to nothing. All we are entitled to do is to be present and to try. And so we can now see how meditation takes the you and helps it live in higher vibration during the day and during your life via anchor, thought, and flow, and how meditation then helps you to detach from the world, the past, the future, and from all passion, to enable you and yourself to merge and meet at oneness. And this finally then takes you to linkage in your search for enlightenment. So with that, we will stop our class here today, and next class we will sharpen up our techniques and also practice deeper forms of oneness and linkage. So I'm looking forward to the next class being a very practical class. So it's going to be very relaxed, and we're going to experience together how we raise our vibrations, how we reach levels that are best for us, what brings out the best in us. And that's the golden value of meditation. And as you can see, meditation is a beautiful journey. And I'm so honored to be walking on this path with all of you blessed, beautiful souls. So it's wonderful, and I look forward to our next class. So now let's sit back. We're in good time. Let's sit back and do our today's meditation. So close your eyes, be completely relaxed, and breathe freely. Let go of all your emotions, your stresses, your strains. Let go of everything. Be at complete peace. Let peace fill your being. Let light fill your being. Breathe freely. Be completely relaxed. And I'd like you to imagine that you're standing in front of this beautiful, crystal clear lake of water. The morning sun is up, the sky is blue, the rays of the sun are bouncing off the dewdrops on the grass. There's birds in the sky, trees, flowers, and in the distance you see snow-capped mountains. And you are in this very, very beautiful setting of nature. Take a moment and look at the lake, the mountains, the grass, the sun, the blue sky. Connect with it all. And then you decide to take a walk in the lake. And you enter the lake and keep walking. And keep walking until the water reaches your knees. And you look at your knees and you see little ripples and waves in the water. But you want the water to go completely still. So you look at the little waves and ripples and you repeat the word stillness. 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 And as you repeat the word stillness, the water begins to go more and more still. You want it to be so still that you can see the reflection of your face in the water. Stillness. Keep repeating this word. Stillness. 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 And as you look at the water now, it is completely still. Completely still, like a sheet, like a mirror. You can see the reflection of your face with pure clarity, the reflection of the blue sky. The water is completely still. You are completely still. As you look up at the rest of the lake, it is also totally still, like a sheet, like a mirror. Stillness. 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 And then you repeat silence. 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 As you go completely silent from within, all your thoughts are completely silent. The nature around you, the lake, everything is completely silent. Silence. 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 You are completely still, completely silent. And you start to walk further in the water. And you see 3 lotus flowers. The first one is white in color, representing the world you have come from, your world, with your family, your loved ones, your career, your happiness, your hopes, aspirations, challenges. This is your world, and you look at the white lotus flower and repeat gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for the blessing of your world. Gratitude. And then you look at the next lotus flower, which is yellow in color, representing your future, your hopes, everything you worked for, prepared for, your aspirations. As you look at the yellow lotus flower of the future, you repeat gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude. And then you look at the third lotus flower, which is pinkish red. And this represents your past, all your memories, all your experiences. The past is that which has made you who you are today. And you offer gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude. Now it is time to detach and leave the past, the future, and your world as you keep walking into the lake, leaving behind, detaching from the world, the past, the future, as you repeat the words detach, detach, detach. And as you look behind you, you no longer see the 3 flowers. Detach, detach, detach. And you keep walking in the lake until the water reaches your waist height. And then you see before you beautiful candles in floating dishes, hundreds of them, 400, 500 candles, all floating in little dishes on the water. Look at all these beautiful candles. They represent your fellow souls on your journey with you in meditation. Look at each flame, loving, warm, beautiful. And then all the candles begin to come together and merge into one another until finally they all become one bright, warm, loving flame. The flame of oneness, the light of oneness, the light of creation. And this light flows through you, reaching every element of your being. You have become one with everything, with everyone, with all creation, and one with the light of the Creator. As you repeat, oneness, oneness, oneness. The light of oneness flows through you, lighting up every element of your being, and flows from you into all creation. Oneness, oneness, oneness. Keep repeating this word. Oneness. Oneness. And then from the light of oneness, you see the loving hand of a parent open to you, and you, the child, place your hand in full trust as you surrender everything to your Creator. You repeat, surrender, surrender, surrender. You surrender your mind, your thoughts, all control, all ego. You surrender everything to your Creator. Surrender, surrender, surrender. As this loving hand guides you into the light, into the God consciousness, where you now repeat your linkage word, which is the name of your Creator, either the word that has been given to you or the one you have chosen. I will repeat in slow rhythm, O, Re, Jin, O, Re, Jin, O, Re, Jin. And you will replace the word origin with whatever your linkage word is. But repeat this word in slow, gentle rhythm. O, Re, Jin. Just take a few moments and flow with your linkage word. And in the presence of the light, we offer gratitude. Gratitude. Gratitude for the blessing of being together and present in today's meditation. Gratitude for all the blessings of abundance, happiness, love, peace that we constantly are blessed with in our lives. Gratitude for all our family and loved ones and all those who make our lives so fulfilled. Gratitude for the blessing of clean water, clean air, nature, the environment. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. May the gratitude flow to you, through you, and from you, back into nature and its consciousness. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And may this gratitude flow from you to all creation, to all fellow beings. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. gratitude, gratitude. And it's time to turn around and walk back towards the shore of the lake. And you keep walking in the water, crystal clear, pure, powerful and beautiful water. And you keep walking back until you see the white lotus flower, your world, the yellow flower, your future, the reddish pink flower, your past. As you walk past them, you're back in your world, in your life, with your past and your future, carrying in your heart lots of light, being oneness, and your being filled with gratitude, 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 until you're back on the green grass. You look at the blue sky, you look at the rays of the sun, the mountains and the snow peaks. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. You're back in your world, filled with gratitude. And you may open your eyes whenever you wish. I'd like to thank each one of you very, very deeply for being present today, for bringing so much light, positive energy, peace to this meditation. I hope you enjoyed the class, because sometimes we meditate, but it's good to also understand why and how. And we dedicate more of our time and effort towards that in our next class. But I'd like to thank you all again for being here. And I pray that you always be blessed with peace, happiness, love, and immense light and abundance in your lives. May the light of the Creator always be with you, to help you, guide you, protect you, and love you always, keep you safe. And inshallah, look forward to seeing you all at the next Sharing Hope meditation next Saturday. So stay happy, safe, and blessed always. And thank you again.